And we are back in.
Okay, then.
Stream is getting started up.
All right. Welcome back, everyone.
Apologies. Carry on.
Now that I've not been at work for 9 hours before running the session, I should be in a much better state to GM, and I'll be able to voice chat and everything, so that's always a plus.
Excellent. But there's also... Ikky's still not here, but that's mainly due to some... Weather emergencies. It's been pretty bad, civilly.
Either way, when everyone's ready, we'll resume exactly where we left off last time.
Can we just get a recap? Because we haven't really done this in a while.
I will give you a recap. Just one sec. Let me transition the map. So, you're still on the case of a mysterious killer. You've already claimed one victim, and you've investigated the crime scene of which. You then traced a tenuous link between the victim to a burgeoning supervillain called Hive, who you had a brief encounter with. She did in the end escape, but left behind some evidence of what she'd been up to. However, what she'd been doing doesn't seem to be tied to the killer at all, and while all this was going on, the killer has claimed another victim. At Steelwall's guidance, you've come to the crime scene of the second murder, and the police, who are beginning to warm somewhat to you at this point, have allowed you to enter and investigate at your own discretion. And so we return to the crime scene. You guys can feel free to take any actions you wish to approach the building, ask any questions, and I will happily fill you in.
Certainly. Can we just get a thing of what time of the day it is? This map suggests it's dark.
You can probably tell by the map. It's late evening, getting on towards nighttime now. The sun is low in the sky. The wind is fairly still, but it's cold all the same.
Okay.
You can see, even from looking at the outside of this building, without even having to go inside, that the windows have been smashed in numerous places. The front door closed, but barely hanging on by its hinges.
I reckon I will approach the building and probably comment aloud that now there's a lot of killing around New York. Feels just like home.
Is the building illuminated, as in...
There are lights on outside. Inside, lighting seems to be somewhat sparse, as if someone's intentionally turned off the lights.
I'm gonna conjure a light then.
I'll ask. Can you do UV light?
Can I? I'm not sure.
Insert your character sheet.
Well, no, because it's presumably, possibly, it's light that counter. It's the standard way of building a light power in Hero. It's +4 to perception rolls, but only to counteract negatives from darkness, and only and it's got sight range basically. So it's like.
Yeah, I believe
that was an in-character question, really.
You have to build it as a ultraviolet sense with plus perception to make it a UV light.
But it's the sight group, including ultraviolet sight.
Okay, well then I suppose you could do it. What is the like skill or whatever you use to push your powers and make them do things they can't normally?
Well, it would be more like a power roll because it'd be like...
That would be a power skill, but not everyone has a power skill.
I see.
Also,
it's kind of like a modulation of the power, so you could filter it. It's weird.
The way I see it, it's possible. It's like it's light, but it's not just visible light.
Yeah. I suppose you would be projecting UV as part of the spectrum, but
Yeah.
it'd have to be on its own to actually do the whole highlighting things in a crime scene. Alternatively, you could ask the police who are stationed nearby if you could borrow their UV equipment.
Where did I even put those? Oh, there they are. I'm actually quite curious now. I've never thought about this.
Do remember as well, Helena has lent you her CSI tablet thing, her tablet computer, so that can
Don't
help
break it.
with CSI. Yeah, if you break it, she's not going to be very happy at all. That's some expensive hardware, my man. It's like a jailbroken iPad or something, I don't know.
It's an O-pad.
It's an OG pad.
Or whatever they call them these days. Yeah, I'll ask. Don't speak to one of the CSI techs and ask if they've got any kind
you
of.
approach the police officer station just outside the area, you also hear your contact talking over the comms. There's no signs of the killer anywhere in the local area. They must have fled very quickly, either using a vehicle or, well, superpowers.
Have the police released any details on the identity of the victim? Are we looking at a crook or some big politician?
Just as a quick heads up, there's apparently a bit of buffering issues.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I'm looking into this. Now, I don't see it says I can create light, and it says it's like the whole site group, and it says you can change the nature of your image when using the image power. So I foresee. I guess you could create ultraviolet specifically, or blue, or green, or
Fair enough. I'll allow it then.
Okay. Okay. I'll create ultraviolet.
The victim is Piers Tattershaw, second generation Irish. He, by the look of it, he was involved in a sex scandal. Claims of indecent assault with underage individuals. Substantial body of evidence, but the courts got gummed up. There's a lot of rumours of bribe money going around, judges in his pocket, but nothing concrete. Of course, none of that matters now.
So we could be looking at a vigilante, one with a great disposure to kill and maim.
I put it in the wrong one. So the guy had a lot of money and influence. Well, I'll take a step inside.
I will be
I'm gonna
following.
stick to you with my little ball of light.
Seems that way. Both targets have had some serious criminal accusations, and in Ernesto's case, a lengthy criminal record too. And that's the only thing that links them. Okay then. You push open the door, which is pretty busted up looking. And I'll quickly reveal to you the room inside. Having to use the normal options, not the fancy subscriber ones, so bear with me.
That's fine.
There we are.
Who subscribes to this anyway?
I do, actually, because I run a bunch of games. with.
I no longer give Roll20 my money.
Yeah,
I do not either.
the company has a little bit of stuff going on, which is not great, but there's not really a better option as it stands right now. If another rival comes along that's actually decent, yeah, okay, I'll go with that.
I'd probably jump ship, to be honest, as well.
Either way, you enter the room to discover ruined furniture scattered around, a busted up sofa, but perhaps most dramatically of all, the chalk outline of Piers Tattershaw. However, the edit this and show it to you guys. This crime scene has some unusual features that may provide some more clues. The floor is entirely caved in near the head of the chalk outline. But the outline was clearly made after the floor was caved in, not before, implying a very grisly demise for Piers Tattershaw.
Okay, is there any kind of sort of other disturbances to the room? Sort of any kind of signs of a struggle?
You can look
there
around for anything specific if you want to. Yeah,
Is there a hole in the ceiling?
You guys can don't wait for me to prompt you with skills here. Feel free to apply any of your skills to the crime scene, and we'll see what you come up with.
I roll a perception. Have a look around, see if there's anything that's out of place, damaged, or if there's been kind of thrown around.
Go for it.
10. So usually perception is.
I'm assuming it's probably
15,
an 11 under for you.
15 or
Oh,
less.
Jesus. You've got very high perception.
I'm
Okay,
gonna
well,
be right back.
this was an average check to make anyway, so you easily notice. You can see all over the floor in various locations, the carpet has been raked. What looks like from animal claws. However, these must be the claws of a very big animal because the gaps between the shreds certainly imply a paw that's bigger than like that of a dog or even a wolf.
I'm just going to speak out of character here. I don't have a great number of skills that could be applied here.
That's fine.
Uh,
You can always just take the CSI tablet and be the tablet guy, because that's got its own built-in skill. Which is, if you just let me get her sheet up a moment. I mean, you can roll a 3d6 for it now, if that's what you're doing. I'll just tell you if it's how good of a success it is. Yeah, 11, that's a pass. Because you're rolling the crime scene investigation tablet's forensic skill in this case.
Does it seem more like a sort of frenzied attack? Any kind of
we can
blood
get
or
onto that.
residue? I'll say something.
Judging by the positioning of the chalk outline, as well as some of the damage to the support beams, His body has been slammed down onto the ground and then struck with a large, heavy object that was quite literally demolished his head, as well as a large portion of the floor. His remains have since been removed from the area by the police, of course. So it's not bits of brain everywhere or anything, you can just see the legacy of what happened.
Guess they moved the bodies, and oh boy, what a stomp. The claws as well suggests could be a werewolf, but they aren't exactly known for their control over their other forms, unlike me or my dad, who inflicts such efficient and precise damage.
Remind me to talk to you about your family sometime, but for now we can't rule it out. Yeah, as for how frenzied or disciplined this attack might have been, it's not entirely easy to tell. Whoever was doing this certainly seemed to have the motivation of killing peers rather than, say, feeding or feasting off of him like you might imagine a werewolf doing.
Yeah, which is why she commented that werewolves are usually more bestial and frenzied. Yeah. This was done with clear intent, as opposed to a monster attack.
From what you can tell, it's very likely that it was actually an object that was piled onto his head, not the foot of the culprit, because if they had stomped on his head in this way, they probably would have ended up being trapped in the hole created and would have had to have done something to free themselves that might have caused more damage. It's very likely they had something big and heavy on hand and just slammed it straight onto him.
How big is the hole anyway?
Yeah, it's about as big as you can see there.
So someone reasonably thin could
about
probably
a meter.
Through. Huh.
A meter by like a half meter.
I guess Shalka will actually try and squeeze through the hole to like look inside.
Sure.
He's pretty thin.
Okay, with Manticore's absolute range sense, he can determine that the gaps between the claws are large enough to imply that whatever this creature was, it is about probably 2 or 3 heads taller than a normal human. Assuming its body has a sort of general, like,
as long as it's properly portioned.
Yeah. And whatever this creature was, is probably also quite wide and stocky. It certainly wasn't like a, emaciated, frail creature of the night. We're talking about something big and beefy that did this.
He's thick.
Yeah.
We're after a thick boy. Okay,
But yeah, as Shalka carefully slips down into the area underneath, she'd find that the entire place stinks of cleaning fluids. Like high-strength cleaning fluids that have been used to deal with all of the gore after the police did their initial CSI sweep. And amidst the wreckage down here, using your previous perception roll, which is fantastic, you notice something quite unusual. You notice little fragments of white material scattered around.
I will collect it and run it through the CSI analyzer.
When you scan them with the CSI tablet, it doesn't even require a skill roll to identify this. These are fragments of the outer plastic of a white goods like piece of appliance, such as a refrigerator or a fridge freezer or a washing machine. This would strongly imply that whoever killed Piers demolished his head with a fridge freezer.
Jesus Christ.
So where's our murder weapon?
It doesn't seem to be here anymore.
And they wouldn't have the tools to kind of
Do
get
we
it
see a
out.
trail of blood? Is there a trail of blood?
Aha, that's an interesting question. Make me another perception check. Now that you know what you're looking for, you can look for it. Previously, this would have been impossible because the carpet's red, so it's really fucking hard to tell. But
Wouldn't it also show up on the ultraviolet light?
yes, using the ultraviolet light makes things a lot easier. You still have to make the check though.
Okay. Let me check. My perception is. Where the hell is it? It's 12. I don't see anything.
Actually, considering this check is easier than an average check, you do. Because
Okay.
you've got the benefit of your UV vision. Without that, though, you wouldn't have noticed. But you do notice there is a small trail of tiny droplets of blood. They're very, very long dried, and so they're quite difficult to tell. You know, these are from a little while ago. And they're leading down this way towards a broken window. And surely enough, when you move over to the window and look outside, you can see a heavily damaged refrigerator lying on top of a dumpster outside. Clearly, the original CSI team must have missed this. Whoever it was killed Piers Tattershaw with a refrigerator, carried it over to the window, and then threw it out.
I'll make sure to climb out of the hole as well. Just all the lurk down there. It's pretty smelly. Wait, you guys have giants too?
I'm not sure I like the idea of a murderer strong enough to caber toss a fridge. There might be more evidence, though. Check it out.
So wait, it was this door here. Which door was it? So I can point out on the map.
It was through a window.
Oh, through the window. Oh yeah.
It's off the map currently. Don't feel you need to actually move your tokens over to it.
Is there like an extra, like, is there a basement under the floor here?
No, actually, it just seems to be a sort of old part of the construction hasn't been fully realized. It may have been that the building originally had a basement designed for it, but then in order to cut costs, they just did without. So it's essentially just like a musty, dark space with gravel floor and like
it's like a very thin crawl space almost.
yeah, essentially.
I'm gonna take a closer look at what's inside, see if there's anything else down
Fair
there.
enough. You make like a bug and scurry around underneath the floor.
I'm not gonna crawl under the floor. I'm gonna look under the floor.
But you're a bug anyway.
I'm not a bug. A bug is a specific type of insect.
That's racist.
Yeah. Having a look through the layer underneath, you do find some more bits of rubble that may indicate there's more damage to other rooms in this place. It's very likely that the killer didn't enter through the same door you did and has actually done more damage to the building in other areas.
Consider what I've just put down. The fact that I'm going to see if there's any sign of forced entry via windows or doors.
Yeah. You notice that this door being damaged actually is more a case of an exit than an entrance. This door here is the entrance the killer used.
Check it out, gang.
I'm gonna first peek into this room.
Fair enough. Let me reveal that. Just a sec. Wrong thing.
You see anything in there, Blue?
I see a tiny square. I don't think you revealed the map right.
Yeah, I didn't. I'm sorting something out, and there I just accidentally forgot I was using the
Fine.
wrong tool.
Also, I hate the way that they're doing Fog of War now, where if you added multiple strokes, they stack even on GM view. So it's like different squares. If you draw different squares and they overlap, they get darker and darker where they overlap, and it's horrible.
Ugh.
The way they did it before was way better. I don't know why they changed it.
Yeah, just have it as a kind of like layer, which there's only like one. I mean, I kind of like to do like retroactive, like Fog of War, where basically if you explore an area, it reveals what's in the area. But if I'm putting like more stuff in that, like it comes up behind you or through where you've already been, I usually just put them into GM layer, so they revealed when you come in. It's like, what the?
Okay. Now, Cerulean peeks into this room. They discover that it's kind of squalor. Like there's bits of trash, and there's like an old musty bed in the corner and stuff. It's clear this place is a bit of a dive, and it's not normally where Mr. Piers Tattershaw lived.
I see garbage.
So what he was doing here is anyone's guess.
Is this actually his residence, though?
No.
Or are we in the attacker's residence?
No, you're not in the attacker's residence, or at least you assume you're not in the attacker's residence, and it's definitely not Piers' residence either.
Could be a squatter. Maybe he's hiding
Yeah.
out somewhere.
This property, according to official sort of like records, is condemned. So what Piers was doing here in the first place, again, is anyone's guess.
Drug deals. I'm sure of it.
Well, I was going to say, it's something definitely questionable because you don't go somewhere that's condemned.
Is this a window or what is that? Like this arch.
That is a door, but it is blocked, and the room behind, as far as you can tell, is just completely inaccessible and full of just junk.
You might need someone with strength.
I
Depends on
mean,
the junk.
I could probably just destroy it, but I don't want to destroy it, right? 'Cause it looks like big garbage bags and a bed frame. I'm sure I can kind of lift that.
It's essentially my way of representing that there is a heap of just trash and refuse there. It's not like abject filth with rats and,
It's like a
slime and
hoarder
everything.
stack.
It's just a load of junk has been thrown into the corner a long time ago. This is clearly nothing to do with the actual crime that took place. However, meanwhile, while our dear friend Manticore checks out this room, he discovers that the killer clearly has something of an explosive entry.
Oh, dear
The
God.
entire room, the floor has just been obliterated. And you can see below the dank and dirty crawl space.
Why though?
It's not entirely clear what happened here. You can use the CSI tablet or attempt to apply any other skills to try and work out what happened.
I think I'm going to be using the CSI tablet here, but part of me thinks it's just going to say, oh yeah, this was destroyed.
I'll pass it through.
Yeah, feel free to make your skill rolls.
Again, there's no hole in the roof, right?
No, there's no hole in the roof. The roof is weirdly intact in all of the rooms. Yeah, applying the CSI tablet's scanner to the gap in the floor reveals only one thing to you. The pattern of this indicates it was caused by a single heavy blow delivered to the ground, which has then propagated throughout the floor and caused all of the floorboards to shatter and fall to pieces, but the support beams beneath have stayed mostly intact.
I wanna.
So some
might
kind of
be some
shockwave?
kind of- but potentially some kind of shockwave, some kind of powerful stomp, maybe? It's not entirely clear what happened here.
How far below is the crawl space?
Same as the other room. Just sort of like, maybe a meter down tops.
I'm gonna flutter through if you don't mind.
Yeah, feel free. You find lots and lots of splinters. I'm assuming you've got natural resistant PD though, so they probably don't hurt you, but there's lots of splinters on the ground.
No, I mean I'm flying.
Oh, flying over it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you just get an aerial view and you can see another door. In
Yeah,
fact, the
I was
door
about
you
to
can
say.
see is open, so I'll just reveal that room to you.
Okay. Gonna take a
This
quick
seems
look around
the
in here.
remains of some kind of kitchen area. Actually, that room doesn't exist, so let me quickly hide that.
Mhm.
There we go. But yeah, you find some kind of kitchen area, and again, it's mostly ruined, but there's the telltale signs of the refrigerator having been ripped from the wall. So, yeah, this is definitely definitely a fridge-caused murder.
There's no other
Heck of a
rooms.
murder weapon. Well, gonna follow and instead of walking around, just probably just test the beam and then just walk across it, like just a beam.
Okay, there's something I want to check.
Sure, what is it?
I want to double take basically the entire building, take the time to look around and see whether this crime scene's been tagged like the last one with the call sign.
Okay. Okay, this is strange. I was following possible trajectories the murderer may have took, and I'm getting some weird reports of something taking place outside city limits.
If he's hulking around the city limits, sorry, outside of city limits.
After a short search, it's there. The bitch tag was sprayed onto the wall just outside the door after the attacker left. Can you make me a criminology roll if you have criminology?
Me?
Although, actually, I think does the tablet have criminology? Let me check. This is important.
Might be a boost
No,
of criminology.
There's analyze combat. But yeah, you can instead make a I think it's just a raw roll to work out using
Well, it's definitely going to be a raw roll for me.
intelligence for you. Obviously, it'll be a little bit harder because you don't have the skill, but still.
Still
Oh
pretty
wow,
good.
you actually managed it. Okay, interesting. It looks almost identical to last time, implying the culprit uses a stencil. But what's more, they've made some mistakes here and there, accidentally spraying where they shouldn't have, using too much paint. This is very amateur in this, had never done graffiti before in their life.
It's a little unusual. Actually, I'll spawn to Helena.
So this is either a copycat or are we looking at more than one person? Helena, did the news about the last crime scene ever get out, or were details reserved?
It's either a copycat or we got in like a group of killers working together.
That's what I want to know. If the last news about the last crime got out, we could be looking at a copycat. If not, we could be looking.
Details were held back, but it's possible there may be more. But then how would they all have bestial strength? It might be that whoever is doing this really isn't much of a gangster, despite the impressions they're giving.
So, what was this about? Something going on outside the city? Whatever it is. Probably important.
Yeah, there's been reports of some weird lights a few miles out from the near. Of course, the police are tied up with events here, given that hive woman and stuff like this. I don't know if it has anything to do with our killer or not, but you could check it out once you're done here.
Weird lights.
The notion of weird lights might strike Cerulean in particular as being curious.
Aurora Borealis? Get some steamed hams.
Is there video of the lights?
Say, probably will be.
Not going to fall for that one. But no, one witness is convinced it's a UFO.
Do you have like on the tablet? Is the tablet able to connect to any sort of feed of this? Because if it's weird lights, people tend to record these kind of things or stream
You
them.
can attempt to browse around online and see if you can find any videos that have been uploaded.
Actually, I'm
Stand
gonna
back,
use.
guys.
I'm gonna my radio perception to see if anyone's transmitting it on TV.
Interesting. Okay.
And I will take out my phone.
Make
gonna
me
see
a
if it-
perception check using your radio sense to try and sift through the signals and see if you can find anything.
My perception is 12 minus, and I have no bonuses.
That's fine.
So it's still 12 minus.
Gonna. Where's the old tube? Check if it's trending on Twitter.
After a few moments of tuning in, Cerulean gets a brief vision of a phone recording. It's hazy and hard to tell what's going on. It seems like a revolving bright teal light. What really gets her attention, though, is a garbled message that is definitely not terrestrial.
Okay, I'm gonna roll perception again, try and hone in on that.
Yep.
Nice.
Perfect, you managed to get it. That's all you get.
I can't mimic voices, so it's just gonna sound like me saying it.
Yeah.
But I can display images on my body. Like I'm basically a walking television screen.
This
Good,
message
just the
is audio,
antennas.
so
Yeah. That's weird. Deploying beacon. Watch the perimeter. That's what I heard. From the lights. Can I roll? Actually, no. I don't have any knowledge of galactic cultures.
okay.
I only have knowledge of my own culture.
Yeah, so unfortunately you can't fill in the gaps there. You could roll knowledge of your own culture to see if any of this is at all familiar in even the vaguest sense based on interaction your race have had with other races.
It's a 12 minus skill.
As best you can tell, you know at some points in history your kind have potentially been like victims of other alien species because of your unique properties. But
We're hunted all the time, dude.
yeah, that you can't be sure if these people have anything to do with that or not.
They might be Russians.
I shrug at Manticore. I heard that message from the lights in the sky. Very sure it's spaceship.
It doesn't seem related, but things are interesting around here.
Yes, what Helena said. Out of town.
Alright, well, I'll leave it up to your discretion. I'd say aliens are probably more important than murders, but the two may even be connected.
I once saw a movie. Alien pet escaped on planet. Killed people. But no bitch tags.
It's highly unlikely.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm just your handler right now. It's your call to make.
We bloody hell, we were on our way to investigate some in Chinatown, weren't we?
No, you've already done the stuff in Chinatown. That was
Oh.
the encounter with Hive.
I
This
say
is
we look
the-
at fridge for clues. No clues, then we go to lights.
Let's
Fair
find the
enough then.
fridge.
Head over towards the dumpster. Feel free to inspect the dumpster, like with a fine-tooth comb or the CSI thing or whatever flavor of investigation you want to do.
I'll see about getting that CSI tablet back, because I do have criminology.
Mm-hmm. All right, then make me a roll. Hey, that's a great roll.
Normally, criminology is 13 or less.
Oh my god, you actually you did it, you fucking madman. Okay, here we go.
The absolute mad lass. Well, let's not discount time travel in alternate dimensions either.
Shalka manages to discover something on the fridge. Trapped in the door section, a tiny tuft of fur. It looks like it might have belonged to a Doberman given its coloration, and the tablet corroborates this, indicating there are traces of canine DNA, as well as human. But it'll take a lot of work to determine who it may have belonged
Hmm.
Again, we're finding dog people. Well, dog people DNA.
Well, that confirms one thing. Hive, the first attack, and this one do actually have a connection. Hive isn't directly related. It may just more be a case of whoever's making these hybrids, clearly doesn't really have much restraint on making them.
Actually, I'll tell you one thing. After you do a little more digging with the records you already have based on the nightclub incident and your encounter with Hive, this has nothing to do with either. It's nothing to do with the chemical compound that the people at the nightclub were using to transform, and it's nothing to do with the chemicals that Hive was collecting either.
I'd also like
This
to point out
seems
that
to
that DNA sample was actually of Shalka.
Yeah, fair enough. But
If you
in this
remember.
case, in this case, from what you can tell, it almost seems like this is something natural, or more accurately, supernatural.
Oh.
So it may be that while Hive had connections with Ernesto, these killings have nothing to do with her at all.
Seems we may need a lab for this one. I'll bag and tag it.
Mm-hmm.
I assume the fridge has blood on it.
It has a lot of the victims' blood on it. No other blood.
Hmm. I will also take a photo with the phone.
Yep.
Just whip out the oldo phone. Neat. The skill check roll.
It's an ego roll.
Yeah, there's
Ooh.
something going on.
I have an ego 20. You can't. Me.
Might be worth checking out then. Drop off the sample of fur you found and I'll work on the DNA match. Meanwhile, you check out that signal. If Cerulean thinks it's a trap, it might be alien abducted.
I've heard about those. I wouldn't mind getting abducted for a bit. Just saying.
Are you often hunted?
Yes, good trophy. Rare species.
Hmm.
Oh dear. Well, I'm not sure then. If these really are aliens, you might be forced to deal with them soon. It could cause all kinds of trouble if they come into the city looking for you.
What the fuck? No, my keyboard was doing something weird. Tried to lure them somewhere. Reverse the trap.
Maybe. Just don't bring them into the city, whatever you. Right, but I don't want you all getting separated just in case. The others should follow you, if 100 meters off or something.
Let's give Helen a first sample first, then think about lights.
Alright, you know where to find me. Just let me put on more than the t-shirt. I'm having a lazy night in. Don't judge me.
Ugh, I do not need to know that much about your personal life, Miss Radcliffe. Visibly just cringing a bit.
Oh, you're in the thick of it now, girl. We're a super team. Just don't tell anyone in class, or you'll be in such detention that you get quantum ball. The team depart the crime scene to deliver them.
I'll lower this. Hold on. And boop.
I have a laptop with a wireless connection and a webcam. Why?
Tristan?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say something.
No, well, I have. Not what I was expecting. If I'm going to see what the deal is with these guys, I want Cerulean seeing what I'm seeing, and in my headpiece keeping me updated.
Well, either take the laptop or get something yourself.
You're not having my phone.
Something that transmits through the electromagnetic spectrum.
I may have a fancy power suit, but I'm not a billionaire playboy with every possible item on hand. I'm a teacher.
I'm not going to live stream this either. Or put it on Snapgram.
In the meantime, the sample is delivered to Helena, who's now wearing a dressing gown, and she gets to work immediately, using her own crude approximation of a proper forensics laboratory. Alright, you guys are now free to make your plan as to what you're going to do about this strange signal. Do it.
I think firstly we'd need to sort of get to a decent distance with those lights and maybe do a little recon.
Yeah, basically, I have a map for this. I can move you to the map at any time. But like, if you want to lure them away or do something else, then obviously I may have to change the map.
It's fine. Can always do a bit of a distance before going in for a close approach.
Can Manticore buy an RPG launcher?
Can you name? I wonder if he knows a guy who can do that.
Just wondering if we do get like if they are lured, how would we fight them? Because I don't think.
You have no idea what this might be.
Yeah,
So,
we need a plan to be able to fight them if we have to.
okay, Manticore, how are you going to try and procure this? Do you have favors, contacts?
Oh no, I'm just gonna prowl the streets looking for a drug techie's phone.
Oh, okay, all right, fair enough then.
Because you could buy a burner phone,
Well,
but
he's not gonna go. He's not gonna go to the police saying somebody took my phone.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay then, for this brief vigilante aside, rather than having you do like an entire encounter or something, I know that you can easily like turn a drug dealer into a pretzel before he can even react with all of your attacks you've got. So I'm just going to say make a either stealth or another skill to try and look innocuous, basically to get up to a shifty guy when you know he has a phone, and then just take him out and take his phone.
Okay, so stealth 13.
Yeah, you easily sneak up on a shady individual that you eventually find after about an hour of prowling the streets, and you wait until he's in proximity to a dark alley, and then he just vanishes. And the police will probably find his unconscious body with a few broken bones tomorrow morning. Either way, you now have a fairly modest phone, but it does have a wireless connection and a camera, so it has what you require.
dude, you could have just bought a burner phone. It's like $20. Manticore doesn't do things without expensing it. You kids and your Instagrams and your... Sure, it's not that hard. How old are you? You'll know what Manticore wants. He wants some good old New York hot dogs. What he spends his money on. Yes, I did just insinuate that Manticore may be a boomer.
I'm pretty sure he is.
Oh, he's not that old, but it's just one of those things that's just like... It's a funny joke.
Right. Well, either way, I assume you set the phone up to stream for him.
So
I've literally had access to phones for like 2 months.